So just looking at the monthly, looks like this little area right here might be the next area. I'm probably going to put a little mean threshold on this guy right here, just to kind of give me something a little bit closer to the price where we're at right now. This is the line for the opening gap on the weekly. Let's pop that in there. You see we're pretty close to it. Gives us something to look at right in there on a higher time frame. So drop back into the weekly. I'm going to come back over here. There's that gap that I was talking about. This is the top of that gap. We're already in that gap. These little dotted lines, if you can see them, they are where price is right now. So very close to the mean threshold of that order block that's over here. And then inside that weekly. So might be getting to a point to where we can see somewhat of a pullback. But the markets just seem to be pretty strong. I was really surprised that yesterday's pullback was only what yesterday's pullback was. So the daily, again, we came all the way back down into an area and then, finished at the Monday high, and then we took off overnight, breaking this buy side liquidity that was put in there from yesterday. And it just looks like we've got, sky's the limit, right? So still bullish, still crushing. On the daily. So we drop into the hourly. We'll take this off. We'll try and clean this chart up just a little bit. We'll get rid of this guy. Leave this on just for a little bit longer. Rid of that. All right. So that mean threshold we put in there yesterday, it actually did come down. It took all day long to get down there, but it was just a kind of a choppy day at the beginning. We kind of talked about that happening in the morning. And then we got down there. I was actually wanting this run up, that happened on this one candle. I wanted that to be all day, all morning, right? And we just got this drag down, and then huge pump at 2 o'clock, and then the sell off at 2:30 into the median, and immediately soaked it back up. So if you had waited through some of that, then this trade right here would have been nice. This was pretty volatile for the ES. Pretty good moves. Again, came out, took out buy side, came all the way back down, took out sell side for the entire day, and then continued on where it was going. So kind of typical FOMC Fed rate. Hold on a second. Yeah, Chris, I expected way more downside move. But I mean, if you go over to the dollar, look how surprisingly this looks, right? I mean, this is on the hourly chart. And we got a little push, then a drop, then a little bit of a push at the end of the day, and that was it. Like this was the candle. That was what happened at 2 o'clock. Drop into a 15-minute so you can kind of get an idea. 2 o'clock right here. And that move up and then the slam down. So I wasn't expecting to see this fair value gap, but we got down there. Yeah, I thought the dollar would be a lot stronger. And then if you look at the Euro USD, it didn't really do anything during that time. Like this was the candle. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, there's your 2 o'clock candle. So even the Euro USD didn't really, I mean, obviously it reacted to the news, but not the way I thought it would. I thought the dollar would strengthen. So maybe it was already kind of priced in through all of this. I'm sure. And today you got the Euro monetary policy. So I don't know. But yeah, look for 46.30. So we're about 9 points away from that on the ES. Looks like we're kind of consolidating pretty good right there. We do have some reason to come back into here. I'm going to go to let's go stay at the 4 hour. So this is what I'm going to do with this one. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of news today with the US GDP coming up after the Euro. So, yeah, a lot of news this morning. And then also the pending home sales at 10 a.m. And then you get Japan monetary policy tentatively sometime tonight, this evening. Probably going to put a sell side line right there, but not yet. Not yet. I like this. Fix it. There's a good little spot, little trend we've kind of created from this area. This was too steep. We flattened out. We started to go again. So we're looking at this trend line. We come down and touched it. Let's see if we can't get into this mean threshold and then start backing off. We'll look at this structure and then the Monday high again. But I don't know. We're going to be, if the dollar's going to be bearish today, then the market should be pretty good. So we might blow right through this area right here and just continue. But I don't like any of those. All right. Yep, 15-minute chart. We've got some inefficiency right here. Let me put the VWAP up there and the highs and lows now that we're on the lower time frame. So VWAP and London highs are right in here. That looks like we're basically have already taken out. London lows are down here. But this steep of an uptrend is just London lows in the midnight It's right there on top of each other again. Ascending triangle. Something like that. Good evening, Toshier. Yeah, I would call that a triangle, not a wedge. I mean, you could make it a channel if you want to manipulate these lines, but I think I'm going to go with this straight across. Doesn't look like price is moving all that much though. Very stagnant right now this morning. You can tell we're cooling off from yesterday and then this overnight run. And waiting for the euro, I guess, to come out with its stuff. Liquidity under here, building that liquidity to the top side. So, it's anyone's game right now. So definitely just watching. Let's look at the NQ. I hadn't even seen it since yesterday either. Got down to that median, the weekly before pushing up, and it wicked out top side, bottom side. We had a little divergence right there between this and the ES before going higher because the ES, remember, took out liquidity and liquidity. So divergence and, yeah. But for the most part, it did obviously the same thing. So news and then just grind it overnight. Now we're making these new highs again. Everything looking basically the same, right on with each other. There's nothing really to go over with this chart. Might make that a dash line. Gives you something to look at right now. This would definitely be buy side, but we got pretty good ways to go before we get up there. Let me turn this off real quick. That structure line, I'm going to leave there because it's really close to these two guys right here. So I'm going to leave that structure line there. But the NQ definitely more vertical and stronger to the upside compared to what the ES look like. I mean, again, they both look very well. See, now I'm on the right time frame, so they both look the same right through there. Yeah, divergence. So the ES is actually stronger. Yeah, I was trying to call out some moves yesterday morning when PD wasn't busy, but then I got busy and couldn't really watch the market after that. So I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't analyzing the market kind of on the in the moment. So y'all seem to be doing just fine without it. So it's no big deal. I do, man. I love looking at the chat and then realizing y'all are just taking great trades. No, there wasn't. It definitely wasn't as active as it has been. Um, you just had to be there when it, obviously in the right there in the moment. We drop into a 5 minute chart, a 15-minute chart on the NQ here. Definitely wedging good there. 21's down. So the VWAP's around the structure line. That looks like a pretty good little spot. And then obviously this one too. I'm actually gonna. I know we're pretty close to that other one, but that could be something. We break through that one. It could be another area. That was the end of the day. All right, let's drop in. And I kind of like to see this push up one more time, like pretty good push. Something like these two candles right here and get above that. So this right here being kind of that channel. And then let's see if we can, because we kind of dipped a little bit. This is a little bit out of character compared to what these guys are doing. So I'd like to see this push get above this imaginary line. Let me just go ahead and create it instead of half-assed drawing it. All right. So I'd like to see decent little push up pretty quickly. And then an immediate rejection of that. Come down into this liquidity. This would be an area in which I think we could play with. So something like that. I'd like to. So 5 minute. It's a pretty good spot for a bounce. Make that somewhat of a target. And then if we break through that, then VWAP and these two pieces of structure down here. You got inefficiency right at the top of this area. So reasons to come down. I know the market's strong. So it's one of those things. But that's exactly the way I want it to play out, though. I would want to see a pretty good candle. And then an immediate rejection of it. And this could be one or two candles, but I want this the downside move. I want it to be faster than the upside move. So we start coming up here with like two or three candles. I would want to get back down below it in less than the amount of candles that it took to get up there. And then maybe a little return, and then that would be the trade. So you can probably look for the same thing, something similar right in here. I don't know if we get this high because that's a pretty good stretch for the ES, but just a quick little pop up above that liquidity. So it just didn't work the same. So it's definitely more wedge. So ascending wedges are usually a bearish pattern. So this being an ascending wedge, the difference in a wedge and obviously in a triangle is because of this, top or bottom line, right? And channels are different too. So channels are usually obviously parallel, wedges, something like that, and then obviously triangles. But these guys right here in that pattern right there, the way this looks is usually a bearish pattern. So give me a little push up and then let's drop. It was weird to use a purple color on the screen. Let's see. Dollar bearish, we got to see what we're going to do right in here. Are we going to respect this and bounce up, take care of some of this and finish it? Let me get my words right. Inefficiency that was left behind from this down move overnight and from the news. So look at that fair value gap right there at the top of the news. Let's zoom in on that for a second. That was pretty good. But yeah, just see what's going to happen right here with the dollar. Are we going to respect this fair value gap? We do have some inefficiency below it. Right here is that top of that structure line. I'm actually going to add a dotted line right there. Even though I know it's the bottom of that fair value gap. I like the structure lines. So see what happened to Fred these days. I don't know. I haven't talked to him all that much. This week especially, he's been kind of quiet in the chat as far as trading goes. I think he's a real estate agent, so maybe he's getting some last summer sales going on up there in Canada. Little known fact about Mr. Fred, he played basketball at this Canadian college in which played. I don't know if I've shared this before or whatever, but he played. They had a match against Michigan State at Michigan State, and it was Magic Johnson's first college game as a freshman at Michigan State, and Fred played against him. He accidentally sent me an email with the video in it, And he said I was sending it to somebody else and ended up accidentally sending it to you. But yeah, he ended up playing, and his team was pretty good. Michigan State was pretty solid. They beat him pretty good, but it was before the 3-point line. Like Michigan State's basketball court looked like it was rubber and not wood. Yeah, Magic Johnson, man, I thought it was pretty crazy. So he played college against. That's I mean that's one of those like there's only like 8 other people that can say that they played against Magic Johnson in his first ever uh, college game. That's pretty solid. But yeah, I think for the dollar, the fair value gap in the structure, we'll see. If we end up, I know the euro stuff comes out in about an hour and a half, 8:15 Eastern. Yeah, so about an hour and a half. So we'll see. I know, right? Random. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's kind of crazy. For one, I was like, what is this email? I told Fred, I was like, I think you might have sent this to the wrong person. He was like, I did. I was like, that's okay. Because he was trying to send me something else and he accidentally sent me I guess a previous copied link. And it was pretty funny. So but I mean I ended up watching like the entire like it was about a man, it was probably a 40-minute clip of the entire games, like just the main plays, a highlight reel. But it was about a 40-minute highlight reel of this game. And I just watched the whole thing. It was a good game. Yeah, he does. He still plays basketball. He was pretty good. He had a nice little sweet shot. Like, yeah, he wasn't just a big man on the court or anything like that, taking up space. No, he handled himself pretty well. I'll see if he won't share it to the community or whatever. Y'all can take a glimpse of it. It's pretty good stuff. I don't really have crazy cool stories about playing against like really big time professionals. I did play against a couple of major league pitchers back in the like summer travel ball in between before I went to college and stuff, and that was pretty cool. One of the coolest things that happened to me was with this guy that we played against. He ended up being a closer for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he was like out of Smyrna area, somewhere around in that area. In my day back in the '90s, he was a huge flamethrower. And he ended up getting like going down into the rehab system and played against the Nashville Sounds one weekend, and we went out and just watched him. It was random. I didn't even know he was down there, and he was in the bullpen, like on the visitor side bullpen, and that was like kind of we were like 10 seats up, me and just my son, and I noticed his name on the back, and I was like, we weren't far from the field, so my son and I were sitting there talking, and it was kind of a quiet time in the game. And I was like, "Hey, did you see that kid right there?" He was like, "Yeah, kid. Would you see that guy right there?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I played against him." And of course, my son was like, "Whatever." It's like you're shitting me. I'm like, "No, no, seriously, I played against him." I was like, "He's actually just down here on rehab. He actually is the closer for the Brewers." And he goes, "There's no way." It's like, no, I'm serious. And eventually, like, I think it was a sixth or seventh inning or whatever. He was kind of up, standing around. He was stretching, and he randomly just kind of made eye contact. And I kind of gave him a little wave, and he waved, had that weird look on his face, like, "Who the heck is this random dude?" And then he kind of looked again, and he goes, "Malone." And that was like the highlight of my life. Because my son then believed me in that one story about the guy that I played against who was on this triple A team. No, no, I did not get a hit off him. He was throwing about at 18 years old. Um, he was throwing like 97. He was one of the fastest pitchers I faced. There was a couple other guys that I played against in a AAU tournament down in Florida from Texas that I could not tell you their names at all. That probably did go pro, but the fastest pitch that I ever faced was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's gone in a blink of an eye. Like this, you definitely have to train your eye. You know, as these guys get older, you can train your eye to it. But if you're not trained, like if you don't train your eye for speeds like that, no, it's there and gone. We faced guys in the low 90s, but there is a huge difference between like 92, 93 and 97, 98. Like a huge difference. And yeah, he was topping out at about 97 or so, like when he was 18. And he was drafted out of high school. But yeah, and I think he ended up tearing his shoulder up. So, but he had his moment. Like he was about a year and a half, 2 years, Milwaukee Brewers closer in the early mid 2000s. Let me see if I can look him up real quick. But yeah, good stories. Like it was just that's I was if he had never looked at me, if that had never happened, my son never would have believed that he would have just been like, that's just a dad story or whatever. Look up because I keep wanting to call him Maltsby, but I know it's not Maltsby. Where's closers from? Let's say 2005 to 2010 because it was about 2002. No, I'm not gonna find it right now. I'll have to post it later. I don't want to waste our time. But anyways, it's gonna bother me though. All right, Euro USD. This is a Euro USD clearly bullish pattern. We've been talking about this being a bullish pattern. I thought this was going to sell off down into the structure for sure yesterday, and did not happen. Turnbow, Derek Turnbow, that's his name. I knew it wasn't Maltsby. So Derek Turnbow was 2005, 2006, and I knew it was 05, 2005, 2006. So, and he was in rehab, and I think it was like 08 or 09. I think it was 08. Might have been 07. Anyways, it was one of those times, one of those years that because my son was super young, he was like 6 or 7 years old. But yeah, Derek Turnbow, that's what his name was. I had to look it up. I'm sorry. Yeah, Union City, Tennessee. There he goes. He went to Franklin High School, which is about 45 minutes down the road. Yeah. But yeah, super bullish on Euro USD. And honestly, the Euro is supposed to get bullish news today with their interest rate. Now, we thought that yesterday with the dollar, and it was opposite of that, even though the news came out and it was what it was. So, is this priced in? and we chop and get a drop because we're, at these levels, taking out liquidity, some inefficiency right in here. I think you just, you know, I don't think trading the news would be very good. I think let the news happen, see where the dust settles, because you might just get that whip action of, you know, taking out lows, taking out highs, and then price going where it wants to go from there. So and I have no idea on the direction. I know that this is a very good spot. I think if we had the Fibonacci on it yesterday, this was almost 62. I think this right here would have been close to 62 or 70. So where we have stopped is a good OTE, and it's already moving back up. So I would just wait for the news, see what how the dollar's going to react to the euro news, and then so if you're playing this, Chris, this is another one to look at. I like this right here. This might be something to look at too. So if the news is going to happen and say they're going to go bullish, but there's kind of a knee jerk reaction to what comes out, there's like a slam down and then a go. That might be the area in which we decide to pull back to. I like that. If not, pull back to the run up, right? Pull back into this structure, and then the news comes out, and then go. So obviously, so many different scenarios that could easily happen. Pound dollar, not as bullish, not as crazy as the Euro USD. Or no, not crazy, but clean. Not as clean as the Euro USD. Pretty choppy on the way up here. A lot of lines on this chart. This is the fib from here down to here. And as you can see, we're in the premium area now. Looks like this is where the euro has already gotten back to right there, whereas the pound, we haven't gotten there yet. So we might see another push up for the pound. And then when the euro news comes out, I can't see the pound being strong against the dollar. It might be a little more choppy and grindy, maybe something like this. But I would wait for the news to come out and see what happens in that then too, because let's see, what did the euro pound look like? We looked at it the other day. Yeah, then we say this was the bullish area, right? Look at that. And with the euro news, this would be the structure in which I would target if you ended up playing something like that. So we got area right here. We can see a pullback. I'd like to see a grind back down a little bit into the news and then a push, or a wick down and then a push. The euro pound, surprisingly, still looks better to me than what the euro USD and the pound USD does. So, and another reason why this could be bullish for the next week is because you're going to get the pound news coming out next week. So, hey, take it easy, Kyle. See you, man. Okay, keep killing it out there. Just be careful. You had a good week already, so but keep crushing it. I think that this might be a good time to, possibly lay off and walk away from it as well. Uh, Oil did exactly what we thought it would, just kind of grinded. I want to see it back down into this I want to see this trend line touched. I really want to see it broken. I'd like to see oil start selling off pretty good. Gold looks like the euro and the pound because of the bearishness in the dollar. So gold's going to keep being bullish. I'm going to take this off. So buy side liquidity might be taken pretty soon. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Look, we're gonna break down first. Oh, I should have came back to here before we look at that. The only issue I got with that, yeah, we come up here and we swept these highs. I wanted to see a close above it. So we didn't close above it. We just kind of swept it. This we could come back down into this area and really play around with this like we thought. But like we were just talking about. But I don't like the fact that we didn't close up here. Having dropped here just makes me think we're coming for liquidity and we're just going to move higher. I wanted to see it go higher so we can have a deep pullback into this area. But that's okay. It's going to be about an 8-minute order block. Yeah. Really tighten it up. I'm definitely not. This is not one of those order blocks where like I want to see this and then this. And I won't play that. Um it has to come down here and then give me some type of like reason to get in. I don't know why I used all those arrows, but um not one of those. This is not a bouncing area for me, like where it just comes down and bounces because of the inefficiency below it, structure down here that it can come down to. But if it does kind of grab its feet and decide to give me the pattern that I want, then yeah, I would take a trade after that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because the OTE, I would definitely, let's see. Let's go with a 15-minute. So should be one of those tough places to put it. Let's go to the hourly. So if we go to the hourly, then I would definitely start down here. And if this is the high, but see, I don't know, that's too far. You go to the 15-minute, you could definitely touch here and here. And yeah, that would definitely put the VWAP in play. So if you went here, and see, that's the thing about the Fibonacci's and using OTEs is like, it's a very subjective way to trade because, yeah, this is perfect, right? But what if I move it here? It's still good and in range, right? But this is kind of an extreme pullback based on this Fibonacci. Um, and the reason I would put it, there's an argument to put it here compared to here. It also depends on the time frame that you're on. So on a 15-minute time frame, this looks easy. You go to a 5-minute time frame, this would probably be the area in which I put it because we dipped down and made a new low before then creating this move. This would be my OTE on a 5-minute chart. So just whichever one you decide. And I mean, this will probably pull up just a little bit, and that would be right in that range. Also with this fair value gap. Yeah, I actually like this a lot better. Yeah. Yeah, this one where it's sitting right now, especially on the 5-minute chart. Because again, you got this fair value gap. It's definitely discount. VWAP is going to trickle up a little bit higher, even if it'll start leveling off a little bit as it comes down. But again, I don't think I would want to take a bounce trade. I'd want it to come down, kind of grab its feet, maybe wick, and then go, and then take that confirmation. Let the 21 kind of catch up with it and start giving me a little curve at the VWAP. So little things like that is stuff that I would be paying attention to during those trades. And then NQ should line up pretty good with that. Yeah, that would be that. This is this. Man, I really wish it had got up here to this structure because I just feel like it's going to come here. The NQ, especially the ES, now that we've kind of dropped a little bit here, doesn't have to go as high as the NQ because see how the NQ, let's do this. A little divergence here, right? NQ made a lower low here, and the ES made a higher high, right? So the ES doesn't have to break these highs. I want to see, but the NQ, I believe, needs to come through with a nice candle up into this area through that structure. So y'all can see it. Like it's doing right now. Get up here and then drop. So I like that. But I would want to see it at this structure. I wouldn't want to just take it, kind of up in this area and it starts to fall over again. I would want to see it up in that structure. I just think this is where it wants to get to before it starts to move further down. Look at the Dow doing its own thing. Like, I don't care what the other two guys are doing. The wife spot. Take it easy, man. You have a good weekend too. We'll see y'all. And I think I'm going to end it right here too as well. And I appreciate y'all being here, Toshi. Thank you for coming. And I will see y'all soon.